Okay, welcome everybody to another Digital Toolkit. I'm Ridge and I am hosting for today. We've got a fabulous panel with us that we're just letting in right now, and we can start. Okay, so today what we're going to talk about is how do I brief a digital marketer? Now, I just want to put a disclaimer there, they're not my underwear. Okay, so yeah, I'm not really into tartan, but anyway, let's get started and see how we go. So let's introduce the panel for you. We have a digital toolkit on Wednesdays at 1:30. So the first person up, we've got all these people on our panel. The first person up is me. I'm Kay Ridge from Dash Social. I look after all of your needs for social media marketing. So this is a pertinent time for me to be on here and chat. And I also have the controls, which is very unusual. Okay, so the next one that we have up is Nicole from Hot and Healthy. Hi, Nicole.
Hey, I'm super excited about today's topic, not because we're talking about, your underwear, even if you're not into tartan, but because I think this is a really important conversation to be having around perhaps expectations in communication. So I am the CEO and founder of Hot and Healthy Academy, which was created to provide affordable access to qualified coaches and trainers and experts in the field of sustainable success for women in small business. So we offer the training, coaching and well-being programs so that women can manage the juggle, struggle and truly thrive in small business. So check us out at hotandhealthyglobal.com. And yes, make sure that you're tuning in every week to the Digital Toolkit because it's free, amazing advice.
Thanks, Nicole. We next have Concord. Is he on here yet? No, it's not here yet. That's okay. Andrea, welcome aboard.
Hey, thanks a lot, Kay, and good afternoon, everybody. My name is Andrea Anderson, Chief Idea Specialist for Your Marketing Machines. We are a marketing strategy and communications company designed to take away the headaches of marketing in your business so that you can get on doing what you should be doing, and that is ka-ching, ka-ching, ka-chinging. Today is actually a really important day also because it is bring a teddy bear to work day today. So I'm hoping that you have actually bought your teddy bear today. It's most important time to celebrate. I actually didn't bring my teddy bear. Instead, what I bought my dog. I bought my dog to work today, and so did one of the other guys. So we've now turned into a semi-doggy daycare. Fun times. Fun times. Looking forward to today's conversation too, by the way.
Excellent. Thanks, Andrea. David, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Kay, and yeah, welcome aboard, everyone. Good to be here. My business is called Your Business Optimized, and we try and build marketing systems for the businesses that we work for. And basically that means try and get all your leads, contacts, and people you've invoiced in one place, and then try and link that up to a CRM. And then we work out the ways to try and make you more money. So, and that's different for every business. It depends on, where you are in your life cycle and where most of your contacts are, and what we can help you sell next, basically. So it's all about bringing all your channels together and having a system to work through that. So thanks, Kate.
Wonderful. Thanks, David. Okay, now I'd personally like to thank Carly. Carly is helping me out today. She's absolutely brilliant. So thanks, Carly. Some of it you won't be able to see her image because she's busy working behind the scenes, but very much appreciate her being here. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing my screen now. And I'd like us to sort of start talking about how do I brief a digital marketer? David, would you like to go first today?
I can. I was hoping you're going to pick on Andrea first. Maybe we should have rehearsed that. Look, it is a difficult process to get the right. A bit of echo there for some reason. Maybe Kay, if you turn me down or something at your end. Not sure what's going on there. That's better. Yeah, look, briefing a digital marketer is a really important process because you don't want to pay for something that you don't need, and things can go very badly wrong. I think if you're not very clear about exactly what you want people to do, in what order, and what outcomes you want from the whole process. And part of the problem is that a lot of businesses that we deal with, they see something they want to copy, for instance, or they see an outcome that they want, and they don't understand all the steps that are involved. So, like just something as simple as, someone wants to do some lead generation. They want a landing page to capture the leads. They need a lead magnet to, for the people to sign up with. They want some ads to run. They want to store the information in a CRM. Then they want to nurture them towards a sale. Right? That's a really complicated process, and it can take a while to get the results for that. So even though, like if you brief the person and you said, I want that, and you don't have to build it all in one go, you can build bits of it and test that it works and refine that. It's just really, you just have to be really clear. What can I spend? What are the outcomes that I want? What are my time frames? And sort of work back from what you want to what you're going to get at each step of the process. So I think that's the really clear. You have to be really clear on the outcomes, and drive that result. And one of my early mentors, and Andrew will remember this, version 1 is better than version none, right? You don't have to get it right. It doesn't have to be 100% right. It doesn't, like you'll make mistakes, and that's okay, but do something, right? Just do the simple things to make it start working, get some income coming in, and then you can spend money on making it look pretty and all the bells and whistles after the fact. You muted yourself, Kay, when I asked you to do that.
That will never happen again. Is it a good idea, David, to bring examples of what you want it to look like? Or are you better off to come with a clean slate to say, look, this is what I do, this is my business, with your expertise, what do you think?
Well, that's one way to approach it, but most experienced marketers will have collateral that they can show you. They'll have examples from existing clients that they can show you. And that's the way we tend to work. If someone comes to us and says, I want to build, just what I said, there's some sort of lead magnet, lead generation, nurturing pipeline, we can show them various versions of that. We can show them different lead magnets. We can show them different landing pages. We can show them different nurturing processes. We can show them shopping carts that work, that sort of thing. So again, it depends on where you are right now and where you want to be, how much time and money you've got to spend, and how involved you're going to be yourself. I mean, they're probably the key things that are going to happen. And the digital marketer, you just need to say to them, I'm only going to spend like $500 a month on this process, and I want an outcome pretty quickly. Therefore, you can't afford to build all the bells and whistles. And maybe you don't even build all the steps. Like you might build step 1, 3, and 5, for instance, of a 7-step process, because you know that it'll get some conversion. It's not going to be ideal, but it'll get some results, and then you can go back and build the rest. So, yeah, I think you've got to have some idea where you want to go, but you don't have to necessarily have all the ideas about how it's going to work.
Okay, thanks, David. One of the things that we do love about the Digital Toolkit is that it's the place to get the best advice and digital tools to help you grow your business online. One of the things that I like with my clients, and that's honesty. If they only have a certain amount of money to spend, then tell me up front. Tell me what you have, tell me what you would like, and we'll try and work out where we can sit in the picture for you. Andrea, what advice do you have?
Yeah, that's good stuff there, actually, David. I'm just going to build on what David said, because he was nailed it perfectly. Here's a few questions I usually not necessarily ask, but ask the individual I'm talking to, but they're questions that are going on in my head when I'm having these kind of conversations. The first one for me is, where are you in your business life cycle? Are you in the research mode, so you've not yet started? Are you just about to start? Are you in a growth phase? Are you in an expansion phase, or are you looking to exit out? Because each of those different areas, each of those different stages of the business life cycle all require different marketing strategies and situations to occur. So that's always a question for me that I always ask when I look at them. The next one for me that I always look at is what's their sales ability style? Okay, and I wish Trevor Russell was actually here today, because I know he'd be nodding his head frantically, but it's understanding, you know, how comfortable are you to actually do the sales? If you're a bit like me and, you know, you don't mind, or a bit like Nicole or David, or even yourself, where you really don't, you're okay with actually doing the whole sales pitch yourself, then you'll find that your kind of marketing, the kind of marketing you do might differ. If you're somebody who's very shy, who's, you know, really quite sort of, I don't know how well I am at sales, then your marketing communication process needs to be longer. In other words, you need your marketing to essentially sell them, so that all you've got to do is just get them signed on the dotted line. So that's another question I always look at when I'm speaking to someone. It's like, really, how comfortable are you in being able to ask for the sale? Number 3 question for me, and this is one I always ask, and that is, what's your budget? And normally how I pigeon it, or how I position it, is, what is it that you're actually wanting to achieve as a projected turnover? Right, most people have a figure in their head, and so if they go, look, I'm, you know, in my first year in business, I want to turn over 100,000. I go, great. Depending upon some other things, you need to be looking at between 2.5 and 10% of your projected turnover needs to be invested in marketing. And that's across the board. So it's when they go, okay, well, gosh, all right, I want to make 100,000. I'm new to business. My sales ability isn't that great. Oh, and the 4th question, what assets do you have that we can leverage from, right? For example, if you've got a database, if you're new to business and you've got a database of maybe 500 that know you, then fantastic. That now becomes something that we can leverage your marketing off, which means then you're not trying to create a cold connection out there in the ether. We can actually go to a warm database. That reduces a little bit, is that dollar value necessary to invest in marketing. And then the last question I always say is, well, how do you want to show up? And people go, what do you mean? And I go, well, how do you want to be positioned in the market? Do you want to be positioned as the all-eye seeing expert? Or, you know, do you want to be seen as the carer? Do you want to be seen as the, you know, the disruptor? How do you want to show up in the market? Because the thing is that if you want to show up as a disruptor and you're very meek and mild, you're a long way, right, from being that person, which is going to need a lot more money. So if I was to go to someone and go, look, I want to be a disruptor, they're probably going to go, yeah, you're all over it like a smelly wet rash. So those are the kind of questions that I always encourage. And I'll just repeat those. And that is, you know, where are you in your business life cycle? What is your sales ability style? What is your budget, and what is it you're wanting? And the flip side, what do you want to achieve in your projected turnover? What assets do you have right now that we can currently leverage off? And the last one, how do you want to show up? Where and how do you want to show up?
Thanks, Andrea. So when would you suggest that somebody approaches a digital marketer? Are they better to actually have done some groundwork first, or should they come to you as a completely newbie?
Yeah, look, it's a really interesting one. I mean, if a newbie comes to me and they get a no, like 3 strikes, you're out, get off the stage. Look, I'm probably going to be very honest with them and say the timing's not right for you. You've actually got a fair bit of research to go do before you even look at bringing on board a digital marketer. You're not even in the starting field. I'll give you a real example. There's a prospect that we're currently dealing with at the moment. She's come out of 25 years in her industry of expertise. She's just spent the last 10 years inside a particular company X. She's released 12 months ago. She's been under a restraint of trade clause. She's now come out. It's her first time in business. She's in her late 50s. And she's going at 1,000,000 miles. And I said, well, look, it's no drama. You've actually got some things. You've already got sales ability, tick. You know you're in the beginning stage of this, tick. You know how you want to show up in the marketplace, tick. You know what assets you've got for us to leverage off, tick. And you've given us an indication as to what your projected turnover is going to be. She's a brand newbie. I'm taking her in a heartbeat. Why? It's not because she's in the infancy stages, it's because she's been able to give us the big green light on those questions.
Fabulous. Thanks so much, Andrea. Now we have the wonderful Nicole. You add.
Thank you for the wonderful bit. For me, and I guess it will be a bit of a no-brainer, but one of the reasons I created our academy is because I really believe that small business owners need to learn as much as they can about the different elements of their business. Now, they don't need to become experts in that. They're an expert in the service or product that they're delivering, not necessarily in being a small business owner, because it's very complex and there's lots of different moving parts. But I would suggest that if you're going to be briefing a digital marketer, you need to know something about digital marketing yourself, even if it's just the basics. So one of the things we created in the academy was, for example, a social media marketing training course for small business owners so they can learn the basics. You can learn the lingo. You can learn the pitfalls, you can learn the platforms you should be on. You will learn whether or not social media is the right platform for you, or whether you need to work with somebody like David and get your emails and your sales funnels through there done. So it's learn as much as you can so you can either know whether it's a natural ability and skill for you to be able to do within your business, whether you should outsource that to someone else and to who, and how to brief them properly. Because if you don't know the language, you don't know your needs, you don't know your goal and how the digital or social marketing is going to be able to support those goals in your business, I think you're sort of running a little blind. And I'd like to think that all digital marketers have your best interests at heart, but they're also a business owner who's looking to make money and profit in their own business. So you need to be an educated advocate for your own business needs. So when you're dealing with a service provider, you know how to manage them, you know how to speak the language, you know how it fits into the bigger goals of your business, you know your budget, and you know how to ask the right questions to know whether you can insource it, i.e. teach somebody within your team or do it yourself, whether you should outsource it and to who. Can it be done by a virtual assistant or a virtual assistant team? Does it need to be done by a specialist, and how much money should you be spending on it and over what period of time? Something I've noticed in particular is small business owners think that digital marketing is going to give them an immediate return. Well, that may be true, but in my experience, it's a long game. Like I do a lot of personal one-on-one coaching with my clients around digital PR strategies. And a big thing is managing the expectation of when you're going to get a return on that investment. And to some degree, there is a to and fro with the expert that you're working with. If you're outsourcing it to a digital marketing individual or team, is to say, well, how much money I'm going to spend up front, when's that going to pay off on best case scenario? Now, if you're doing Facebook marketing, there are ways to get a direct return on that. If you're doing an email marketing campaign, David can probably give you some ideas on when you can expect a particular program that you're implementing to actually pay off. If you're doing social media marketing in general, like you're wanting to be more visible, more present, more searchable on, let's say, social media or through SEO on your website, that's got a much longer payoff. So you need to think about, well, you know, what is my goal? How quickly do I need to get there? How much money can I throw at this? Do I need to learn it and do it myself, or can I outsource it, and when? So that also ties in with what Andrea is saying about where are you in your business life cycle. So I would suggest one is learn as much as you can to know when to outsource, who to outsource to and how to manage that relationship, so how to brief them. And the second thing is to work with a business coach. And business coaches don't have to be expensive. And I'm going to do a bit of a pitch here because I know that there are other Australian small business advisory service providers here, and you can book a government funded advisory session with a qualified business advisor for $40 at the moment. So we're talking about October at the moment, but November some things will change. So, you know, stay connected with us here so we can keep you updated on that. But work with a professional. Especially if you're new to business, you can easily get sucked in by opportunistic salespeople, and you're probably feeling a little vulnerable and not sure where you should be spending your money. So the more educated you can be, and the more that you can partner with, you know, business coaches, government-funded programs, or get into a mentorship program and surround yourself with other experienced people who might be a few steps ahead of you, they can give you some good guidance as well.
Great, thanks, Nick. What should you look for in a digital marketer? As a small business, what should you look for?
Are you asking me?
I'm asking whoever wants to jump in.
Oh, well, the first thing I'm going to say is, what are their runs on the board? Where's their evidence that they can give you the returns they're saying? They might have a great website, they might look good and pretty, they might have all the qualifications, but where are their runs on the board? And that should be reflected in their price as well. If they're new to the game and, you know, you're both taking an opportunity to work with each other and, you know, you're going to try it out, then the price should reflect that. But that would be one of the first things I would look at. What are their runs on their board? What clients have they worked with? Are those clients similar to you, where you're at and your goals and what you want to get out of a digital marketing program? That would be the first thing that I would say.
I just want to add in there, Kay, probably one of the things I do is I ask who maybe their current clientele base is, and is there, you know, a couple of people, 2 or 3 people that would be open to doing a reference for you. So it means, you know, are you okay for me to go and talk to these particular people and see what they have to say? I think that's your first ones. And another one too is go and check their Google reviews, right? Go and check to see what Google says about them. If not Google, go see what LinkedIn says about them. You know, if you're going to a digital marketer to get a lead generation strategy, right, which is to build your brand and to get awareness out there about your business and lead generate, and you're thinking of using social media, go check their social medias. Go check what they're doing. Go check how active they are out there. You know, how are they communicating to their audience? What's the level of engagement like for the people you're suggesting, or, you know, that you're looking to potentially obtain? Likewise, if someone was wanting to do a LinkedIn strategy and, you know, they wanted to bring on board someone like UK, well, guess what? Get them to go check your LinkedIn, go see how many people you're connected to, go and see how active you are, go and look at the quality of the engagement of the content that you're creating. There is so many, I mean, now in today's environment, for clients or for businesses looking for credibility and respectability and digital marketers, there are so many ways that you can go and do that nowadays, better now than you ever could before, because you couldn't, you know, you couldn't go and confirm with what they're saying was actually gospel truth. But now there is, you know, if you're looking for someone to build your website, for example, great, go check out theirs and go find out who else has they built. You know, look for the befores and afters. If you go to a marketer and they go, I don't have a website, you got to go, well, why do you want to build mine if you don't have one? So, you know, you almost want to be looking tongue in cheek. And I think, you know, marketers, and I'll put my hand up, marketers are exceptional sales reps, man. We can sell you the ice, the Eskimo, the fridge, all at retail price in the middle of winter, and you wouldn't even know it. So it's real important that when you are looking at your looking at your marketer, as Nicole said, how long have they been around for? Like, how long have they been around for, because that says a lot about their credibility and respectability.
Can I just add to that to agree 100% with what Nicole and Andrea have said. But what I've seen quite a bit is I've seen people from different niches trying to go into another niche, like someone who's done really well, say in fashion or something, and then they've tried to come into an engineering business. I'm going, that just doesn't work, right? The stuff that might have sold millions of dollars in fashion or entertainment or something, that whole process does not translate to a professional or technical type business. So I'll be really looking for that. Are they in your niche, or are they in a similar sort of niche? And then the other one is, again, through, I've been doing this for 6 years in my own business, but I was doing it a long time before that in corporate land. And what I saw was, if someone is successful at a really small business level, they can't really translate to corporate, or if they're successful in a big international company, they're not gonna be able to do something locally or for a smaller business. So I think it's as Nicole said, it's about expertise and track record and all that sort of thing, but it's also got to be in the niche, and it's got to be in the business size or magnitude that you're in, right? It's all those things got to line up, because this guy just keeps. This guy was absolutely mega successful in the travel and entertainment industry. Like, he had clients that were paying $50,000 a month for advertising. He was a guru in that bit, and he came down, and I gave him one of my clients. I think it was in a finance client, and he absolutely failed. And I felt really bad, because I'd recommended him because I knew he was a guru, and it's just totally wrong person for that business. So I'm really, really careful about that now. There's a whole lot of things that need to match, and yeah, you need to consider all of them.
So David, would you say that big agencies aren't always the best agency?
Absolutely, because again, if you ever dealt with a big agency, like the salesperson might be the guru at the front end, someone like Andrea and I, but then the intern actually is the person doing the work, or it might even be offshored, which is even bloody worse when that happens. And so what you think you're getting is not what you get, and then when you try and tweak something or make a change, or it didn't quite work, they just don't want to know about it. You got your one adjustment or whatever, and you've spent your money, and it's gone. So I think, yeah, it's, and I think Nicole might have mentioned it before, that they got to match your brand. They got to be in line with your values as well, because some of these big agencies, all they're interested in is making money, and that might be one of the things that you're really interested in doing, but it's the way you do it.
Yeah.
It's long. Like, if you're a long-term relationship client and they're just a short-term money-making sort of thing, that's not going to work, right? So.
Yeah, and they're not really going to know your story. No. I think is a big part of that. One of the problems that I have where I am currently is that a lot of the small newspapers are going. And so the small newspapers or local newspapers are branching out, saying that they can now do your digital marketing. One of the problems I have with that is they're really good at writing for paper. They're really good at writing for print. That doesn't necessarily mean that they're good at social media. So, again, it's about, well, show me what you've produced in social media so that I can see, what work you do.
I think the other thing that you might want to look at as well, there, Kay, and that is, we all know that, unfortunately, the reality with marketing is that 9 times out of 10 you need more than one thing, right? It's like a car. You need 4 wheels, guys, not one. You need the petrol. You can go without the doors, that's okay, but you need a seat, or else your tush gets a bit sore. So there are certain components that your business is going to need within that marketing arena. Now, this is where I get really challenged, and I have to admit, it frustrates and rips me undies over this, is when you've got a person who attempts to be everything, right? Rather than them saying, you know what, no, I'm really only really good at Facebook advertising. I'm really no good at writing copy. And that's one thing that I think people need to be aware of. And it doesn't matter where you are in your business life cycle. It doesn't matter if you're in the startup phase or the growth phase or, you know, the expansion phase or even the exit phase. You're going to need more than one tool in the toolkit. So you need to be having conversations. And look, I've happily turned business away. I've happily said, look, I'm not the right person for you. And here's the reason why. And that is because you want too much and I can't do it. So when you do come across marketers like that, what you want to find out for those that are listening, and that is, so what is it you actually do? And if I want these other things, do I have to go find someone else, or do you have people that can do this? Your decent marketer will actually know what they're exceptional at, will be very honest about what they're exceptional at, tell you exactly what they suck at, and then introduce you to other marketers that are exceptional at those things. That's what an exceptional marketer would do. Anybody else would try and take you for everything you've got. And so if you're wondering how to determine a good marketer, that's one of the ways that you can do it. I mean, look, it's the very reason why, you know, if there's a client that comes along me, and I've done this to David a number of times, where I've gone, oh, look, can you just come and join me on this one? Because honestly, I don't want to deal with this person on my own, because I'll probably want to slap him. But number two, I need a certain kind of expertise that really I just don't possess and you do. And I've done that with UK, and I've done that with Telia Dwyer, who's design governess, and Amanda Lowry from MFL Creative, where I've just gone, you guys are just the gurus at what you do. I'm going to bring you in and we're going to work collaboratively with this client. And that's so important in this environment. The other thing too, just real quickly, but then I'll shut up. You'll know how good your marketer is if they're busy. If they are busy, you know they're good, right? Because if they're sitting around twiddling their thumbs, you've got to, and in today's environment, where this environment is prime for marketers, right? It's, you know, because COVID's happened, so many people have been forced to pivot and adjust the way that they're marketing and positioning themselves out there. So marketers theoretically should be busy. I know for the people that I work very closely with, we're all slammed. We are slammed. And we've got more coming in the door, and where our concern is, we don't want to turn the tap off. Our concern is, how do we fit these people in so we can maintain. So that's the other thing you need to find out too, is how busy are they? Because if they're not busy, I'd be questioning their quality.
Thanks,
The
Andrea.
thing is that even if you have briefed your digital marketing team and you've been trialing them for a while, it's absolutely within your rights to fire them, right? So you don't panic too much that you have to get this 100% right and implement all the advice we've given to you up to this point. If you engage with somebody and you've done your research, you know where you're going and how to get there, you've learnt what you need to learn through the academy, you've done all that sort of prep work, and then you get in there and you start working with them after you've negotiated a great price and a great service and how you're going to manage that relationship going forward, fire them. It's your business, it's your money, it's your goals, and they're a service provider. So if you did get in there and it didn't quite work, it hasn't quite met your expectations, you've discussed it back and forth with them, you're not feeling comfortable that it's quite the right fit, but you thought it was, you can fire them. You can also renegotiate the services and the price point if it hasn't quite worked out. You know, there's two sides to this. One is you briefing the digital marketer, and the other is the digital marketer clarifying expectations and having a good contract discussion right up front. For example, price, service, outcome, timelines. And, you know, like any relationship, whether it's a business service relationship or any other kind of relationship, you do need to have regular touch points where you go, I'm not really sure. Did I misunderstand? Have you guys been able to, have we hit a speed bump or a speed wobble? Is there something we didn't know when we got into this that we now have a bit more clarity or awareness on? And just have that great open conversation and communication. And don't be afraid to fire them. Renegotiate, you can't renegotiate. It's not quite the right fit, fire them. Obviously, don't do that 5 minutes into the contract. Give it some time.
And don't forget that if they're any good as a marketer and they know it's not working, don't be too surprised if they actually come back to you and say, I don't think this is working. I don't think this is a positive relationship for either one of us. We need to find you another deliverer that's more suited to your particular needs and requirements. I've done that as well, where I've just gone, I cannot work with this person. I need to find them somebody who's better suited personality wise, behavioral wise.
And I agree with that as well. And you know what, we look at us here, we're a collection of experts who refer to each other. We know each other really well. There are some people that you will refer a client to, and there are some clients you won't refer to certain people because you already know up front there might not be a right natural fit, and you want to make sure you know, that you're facilitating the best combination of client and service provider. But a good quality professional will also know who their competitors and their colleagues are in their industry. So they should be able to help you find a good fit.
Thanks, Nicole. It's very true that, you know, you work so closely with a client that you need to get on. You need to know what they know. And never forget, as a digital marketer, it is their business. You're being paid to assist them, but it's still their business. Okay. Having said that, as a digital marketer, you also run your own business. And if you're finding that this isn't working for you and it's holding you back because of the client, whether, you know, personality difference or whatever, then you need to say, look, I think you need to find somebody else. We're not a good fit. David?
Oh, I'm nodding my head because I just did that this morning. So it's, yeah, look, and it's an evolving thing, right? Because as I think, as Nicole said, once people learn more about their business, they're probably quite happy to take things on themselves. You know, it's all about once you get a strategy going, a lot of times it is quite possible that the business owner can actually take elements over it themselves and run that for a while until the next major shift or major campaign has to happen. So, and that's fine. It's one of the other things that I think we did also mention before, if you're expecting anything to happen within, you know, in less than 3 months, that's sort of unrealistic. You know, I think 3 months is the absolute minimum that you need to have a digital marketer on board for, because the first month will be, you know, even if you know exactly what you want, the first month's going to be building some of the tools. The second month's going to be, you know, tweaking them and making them get an outcome. And then the third month might be, you know, sort of a handover or getting ready for the next step. So that's the absolute minimum you want to go for. Anything less than that, you're probably just doing a one-off advertising activity, and that's only one element of marketing. People, I think that's probably the biggest struggle that I have. People equate advertising with marketing, and like advertising is marketing, but it's only one step of marketing, and it's a really one-off, you know, single shot. It's like having a pistol versus a shotgun. You know, you will hit something probably, but you're probably going to miss out on the bigger picture because you're only using one aspect of the tools that are available to you. So, yeah.
Great, thank you, David. Does anybody have anything to add? No.
What about our?
Oh, yeah.
There's a person online there. Have they got any questions? Izzy?
Izzy and Pascal. While you're working out whether they've got something that they want to ask, I would say, it is kind of confusing as a small business owner. There's a lot of things you need to know. There's lots of areas that you need to not become an expert in, but you need to know enough about to outsource with confidence or bring a team member in, and be gentle with yourself. You're not going to get it right the first time, particularly if this isn't something that you had experience with. As a business owner or in your previous job, and the other thing is get together. I mean, a lot of small business owners can feel quite isolated. They're often solopreneurs or they have small teams, and they need to be seen to be leading with, confidence and knowledge. And it can be hard to go to your own team and go, I'm not really sure how this works. So, get a group, a mentorship group. There are plenty of small business community groups and small business mentoring groups. We've got one for women in small business where you can go, look, I don't know something. Can I bounce an idea off you? Do you think this quote for this service is fair? Do you have somebody you've worked with that you can refer me to? And I think we undervalue the critical importance of a network of other small business owners who act like you would if you were in a big corporation. Like I had 20 plus years in corporate and over a decade in small business. And one of the biggest challenges was getting into small business and going, I got nobody to bounce this idea off. I can't ask the marketing team. I can't ask the finance. I can't ask legal. I can't ask, all of these people. So it's all up to me. So learning as fast as I could at the price point that was available to me was absolutely critical. And the other one was to pull together a group of people who were a few steps ahead of me in business, who I could go, what do you think of this? And they could go, hell no, don't. That's a lot of money for you to spend at this time in your business. Or this is how you could negotiate a better service for the price point that's more relevant to you. Or I've got this great person who's done wonderful work for me, and I highly recommend them. Have a chat with them and they'll open doors and introduce you and make you feel a bit more comfortable. I would really encourage anyone who's listening to this, and we will be repurposing this content on the Hot and Healthy podcast so we can reach a bigger audience, is to be gentle with yourself. Like, small business is freaking hard. And that's one of the reasons we do the Digital Toolkit, is we want to share our expertise with as many people as we can so you don't make some of the mistakes that we've made. And, we get together on the Digital Toolkit so we can bounce ideas off each other. Like before we go live, we're popping things at each other and asking questions in the chat and afterwards, because we know how important it is, if we're going to be successful in business, is to have a community of other small business owners who we can bounce ideas off.
So important.
I was just going to say there, Kay, one of the questions I usually do ask a person, a prospect, and that is, how much are you prepared to lose financially? People make an assumption that being in business is easy. I don't know why they do that. There's a reason why women colour their hair, and there's a reason why men cut their hair, right? So
they've got hair to cut anymore.
Well, exactly, or they're going bald, right? And that is because business isn't easy. It's a 3 to 5 year establishment time frame, give or take, right? And so one of the questions I always ask people is, well, how much are you prepared to lose? And they go, what do you mean? And I go, well, could you lose 50,000, not just in marketing, could you lose 50,000 in business and still sleep at night? No. Okay. Could you lose 25,000? No. Could you lose 15,000 and sleep at night? And because what most people assume is that, oh, well, I'm just going to invest this money, as Nicole said and David have said, and go, I'm going to make all this money back like that. And it's like, yeah, nah, bro, ain't going to happen that way. So I always say to people, there is, as much as there is an asset in business, there is also a liability. You as the decision maker are both. We just don't know which one you're going to err on the side of. So as much as the question is, how much are you willing to invest in your business to get it to where you need it to be? How much are you prepared to lose so you can still sleep at night? And that gives you then is the indication as to the level of commitment, but also it gives your business, if you're going to go to a business coach, it gives them an indication also of where the breaking point may be. And so many people don't get asked that question, and then when they do lose, the person they're going to blame is the last person they got advice from, right? So I always say to people, how much are you prepared to lose where you can still sleep at night? If you tell me that you're not prepared to set, to lose a single cent, then you're probably not right for business. The timing's not quite right for you, because at some point you lose, whether it's you lose $500, you lose $1,000 in a marketing strategy of some description, or Facebook ads, or you've paid someone to build your website and it's crap. You lose. You then got to go pay for someone else to fix that stuff. So always be thinking, I'm willing to invest 5,000 or 10,000 into my business. If I lose it, it was a very expensive lesson. Well, it's not as expensive as going to university, but it's an expensive lesson. But know your limitations, and over time, as your confidence grows, not in the advice, but the actual confidence grows in you as the decision maker, you'll find that that limit starts to increase.
Thanks, Andrea. I think that it's also important to remember that time also has a value. And when you're in business, you need to ascertain, where is your time best spent? Is your time best spent learning things like marketing, which, we've got university degrees on marketing. So it's not, would you just go out and learn on the internet how to be a doctor? Or do you spend your time doing what you do best and why you're in business, and earn enough money to then get the people that can do the best by you? Panel, do you agree?
Yeah. I think that's 100% true. And the other thing is too, I think Andrea mentioned before, like a cap of sort of 10% of your budget on marketing. Especially when you're starting off, you might have to spend a little bit more than that. But don't get sucked into the big shiny packages that some of these gurus are selling. Andrea and I are working on a client who's implemented a Grace Lever strategy, and she's about the fifth one I've seen who's used that process. And one of the things about it is it works really well for a mature business. If it's a business that actually knows what it's doing and knows what its products are and how everything hangs together, that automated process can just magnify the returns, right? But in a startup business or a business that's still finding its way, that it's crazy to build a $20,000 funnel and all the stuff that goes with that, and you don't even know it's going to work. I mean, that's just crazy. But I see it all the time. And I saw a guy recently who'd spent $30,000 on a Kartra whole setup, all the bells and whistles, and it didn't sell. It didn't convert. His base product was actually the wrong product for the market he was trying to sell it to, and he never even tested it. He just decided that it was a great product, and then went out and build the mountain, and hopefully they were going to come, and they didn't come, and the money's gone. One thing about digital marketing is you can test and measure really quickly. You can fail really quickly, or you can succeed really quickly, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to do it. A couple of $100 on Facebook ads to a landing page for a product that you've already got ready to sell, that you're going to do all the back end for, right? All you need is 2 steps, and you can test if that's going to work. If you get no hits or no likes or no comments and no action, fail. Go and try something else, right? And you could have spent a couple of $100 on that. Whereas these idiots have gone and spent 20 grand and in 6 months and build one that they could have found out within 2 weeks was going to be a failure. So,
and that's why I think the self-education piece is so vital as a small business person, is to know enough to outsource, in-source, how much to spend, when, et cetera, and get coaches. Like we already talked about, there's affordable access to coaches through the Commonwealth Government scheme. I'm going to jump back to something that Kay said. It's going to be a little bit controversial.
Ooh.
Maybe. I mean, I founded an academy to give women skills, and I really believe in education. I also believe, you know, when you're looking for a service provider, yes, there are degrees in, you know, digital marketing and things like that, but I'm a real big believer if someone has done it for themselves, if they bled to learn the skill, like if they spent, okay, there's qualifications, but it's not the be all and end all. Have they run their own small business and used the expertise they're talking about to put food on the table? You know, if you're a business owner who is having to live from the income from your small business and you're working with someone who did that, then what they're going to tell you is they've done through blood, sweat, tears and proved it and know what it's like to wake up at 3 in the morning and going, oh, what if that, you know, what if that campaign doesn't work and I don't get the return on the thing that I needed to do in order, etc. So I think absolutely what's their experience, who else have they worked with, and is there an alignment there for the goals for you in your business, your industry, for example? Has that service provider also tested it in their own business and got great results? And they should be able to also use themselves as a case study. It's great to use other clients as a case study, but you as the small business owner providing that service, you didn't have any skin in the game. You know, if you've got skin in the game and you bled to get your skill in that area of expertise to be able to grow your business, or, you know, start, run and grow your business, then I think that goes a long way. In addition to, do they have maybe some of the qualifications necessary in that area of expertise that they're offering you?
I think the other side of it too is, and I love it. I love it when prospects or, you know, potential clients ask me, so Andrea, what have you failed at? And I go, oh God, how long have you got? Like, geez, I can give you all the bloody things I've tried and absolutely, like, what the hell was I thinking? Was I on drugs? Was I drunk at the time I said yes? And I mean, that's the other beautiful part about marketing, right? Because look, nothing in marketing is set in concrete. It doesn't work all the time, every time. What strategies worked for one client completely failed for another client. You know, and look, it could have been that the moons weren't aligned at the time, or we were in another retrograde of Mercury, or hey, I don't know, maybe people just didn't like your product. So that's the other thing too, you know, find out from your marketers, what are the lessons that they've learned in marketing. And look, I happily, and I actually prefer to tell people my failures rather than my successes. Because there's more of them. I'll be brutally honest, there's more failures, and maybe that's just because, like, you know, Edison, we've just tried more times. And that's a real essential part of understanding, because look, yes, you're buying the, you know, supposedly you're going to buy the advice and the expertise and the knowledge, but more importantly, this is actually, you're buying into a relationship, right? And it's a relationship that's got to be built on understanding each other's values and understanding each other's goals and aspirations. Because look, no disrespect, but it's not just about you, it's about me as well, and it's about my team, because I've got to consider not just me, but I've got to consider my team and how you're going to treat my team. And if you're going to be disrespectful, well, I'm not going to have you be disrespectful to my team and think you can get away with it because you're a client. So you've got to understand that what you're building here is a relationship. It's not an us and them mentality. It is a we. It's all about we, and it's all about what I'm going to do for you, and in return, what you're going to do for me. So, you know, understand that we're not here just to make you look good. We're here to actually build a long-term collaborative relationship. And that's the key. And if you as a client or a potential client are not prepared to do that, then be aware that you're going to have people who, marketers, who are going to do exactly the same to you.
I think too, thanks Andrea, I think too that as marketers, we can pivot and we can change. So we look at what's happening in the market, we go, okay, this is what we've got, these are the analytical information that we have. We need to change our marketing plan to go, or our marketing strategy to go this way. Okay, well, we're coming to the end. Next week we've got Lauren Clement is going to be hosting. Her topic is going to be using Facebook groups to grow your business. So that's another great opportunity for us all to get together. Andrea, Nicole, David and Carly, thank you so much for today. It's been very interesting hosting my first toolkit. Make sure you register for the next week's Digital Toolkit, so you can get found, get paid and grow your business online. Thanks everybody.
Thanks, Kay. Thanks, guys.